Hello, everybody. Welcome to Keen on Football. I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon. It is currently 8:30 in the morning. It's Wednesday. We got games on tomorrow. We just got to make it through today. Um, I'm gonna start off with a kind of. Actually, let me write my name up here. I am your host, Keen, and this is Keen on Football. Keen on Football. Yes, it's up there. But the brunt of this video, you saw it on the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about this Florida State Miami game. This first leg of the Florida Cup. Miami has already beaten Florida, and then I don't know. Well, let's see. Miami has to play Florida, and anyways, for this leg of the Florida Cup, right? Now, this is, in the past, this has been one of the, most storied, treasured rivalries, certainly from in the 90s and the early 2000s. But this is the first time that both of these teams are ranked top 25 since 2013. This is the first time in 12 years that both of these teams, Miami and Florida State, are going into this game ranked, right? And obviously in 2013, Florida State went on to win the national championship. It was a great team with Jameis Winston at the helm and, Jimbo Fisher, on the sidelines. But so this is, a new chapter for the rivalry, I think. There is very serious ACC, implications. I think whoever wins this game wins the ACC. I don't think there's another team in the ACC that can really challenge either, Florida State or Miami. I get that Virginia has already beaten Florida State, but it's an upset for a reason. Florida State is the better team. So I de facto, this is kind of a ACC championship, but we've all made jokes about Miami having they've been in the ACC for how many years now, and they still have never won an ACC championship. This might be their year. This might be the year they do it. So we've talked about the the implications of this matchup. Now let's talk about the actual game. We're gonna start with some stats. This is a tale of two units. Miami's defense and Florida State's offense. Right? We're going to start with, I think, the stronger of the two units. We're going to start with Miami's defense, and we're going to, list out some stats, that might paint a picture about how good this Miami, defense is. We're going to start with, these stats are not necessarily going to be in order, but we are going to start with havoc rate. Now, if you don't know what havoc rate is, it measures the percentage of plays in which the defense generates a havoc event, such as a TFL, a pass deflection, or a turnover. Basically, it's a measure of how much a defense can disrupt the offense. Turnovers are obviously king, but pass deflections and TFLs, like sacks and whatnot, those obviously kill drives too. So Miami's havoc percentage, they've got 18.9%, which is that's good for fourth in the country. So they are very good at causing disruption and in the offense, right? They're very good at disrupting the offense. They've got a adjusted EPA per play. Now, if you don't know what EPA is, I guess I can explain that a little bit. EPA is expected points added, and it basically measures how much a play contributes to a team scoring, right? So when we say Miami's defense has an EPA per play of negative 0.19, Basically, what we're saying is that on average, every time an offense, takes a snap against Miami's defense allows them to score negative 0.2 points, right? Which is basically what that's saying. That is good for 18th in the country, top 20. Love to see it. We've also got, I think this is going to be particularly important, EPA per rushing attempt. And I think this is really, really where Miami shines. EPA per rushing attempt. They've got a 0.34. Good for 8th in the country. So their EPA metrics are fantastic, particularly against the rush, right? If you want some more traditional stats, they're allowing, points per game. They're allowing just 14.3, which is good for 12th in the country. They've got rushing yards per game, 71.0, which is good for 5th in the country. Again, we see this. This Miami defense is fantastic at stopping the rush. That's gonna, key into this in a little bit. But they've actually that's all the stats I have for Miami. So they're good at creating havoc and they're good at stopping the run. If I had to, these are the stats I'm paying attention to. They stop. They don't let teams run, and they create havoc on defense. Key stats for Florida State's offense. Again, we're going to look to points per game. Florida State's offense is scoring 45 points per game. That is far and away first in the country. I'll put a little star because that's special. First in the country in points per game. Actually, no, that's a lie. I read the wrong column. They are 5th in the country in points per game, which is still fantastic. And they've got yards per game, 557.5, or 50. Dang me. I got 555.7. 555.7. Again, good for 2nd in the country. Now, here's where this keys in, right? Rushing yards per game. They, on average, have 328.7 rushing yards per game. That is first in the country by a wide margin. Already we can kind of see the narrative taking hold. What's Florida State best at? Running the ball. What is Miami best at? Stopping the run. But here's a few more stats for you, I think, that are pretty important. Scrimmage plays of 30 plus yards. They have 20. Scrimmage plays of 40 plus yards. They have 13. And scrimmage plays of 50 plus yards. They have 8. That is good for 2nd, 1st, and 2nd. And these are my other key stats for Florida State. They are explosive. They live and die off of this is so important. I'm going to write this up here and I'm not going to erase it. FSU lives on home runs. My headset died, so I have to record like this for a while. Forgive me for the audio. But we have got some key players for today, or for this game, right? We're gonna talk about Miami's X factors. Their number one X factor, and it's not even particularly close. It is Ruben Bain Jr. This guy is insane. He is electric. He's I think the best edge rusher, maybe the best D-line prospect in this upcoming draft. And he's their best shot at tilting the game. I'll explain why his matchup is so important later, but this guy, put a star next to his name, he is the difference maker for Miami. Over here at Florida State, one of their X factors is going to be their quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, right? And he's a dual threat. You know, I talked a little bit about his performance against Virginia in my Week 5 review. If you have not seen that, go watch it. But he's a dual threat. He can hit you. You know, he can hit you through the air. He can hit you, through the ground. And his ability to do both make sure you have to defend both. You know, we all know what the value that rushing quarterbacks can bring. You know, look at Lamar Jackson. Bo Nix, Josh Allen, so on and so forth in the the big leagues, Sunday leagues. But his ability to make plays with his legs is gonna really translate to this game. Their second key player is going to be wide receiver Deuce Robinson. I thought it was Robinson, but it looks like it is Robinson. This is going to be their big play target. I mentioned earlier, Florida State lives on home runs. This is their Aaron Judge. This is their guy. If Florida State gets put into a pinch, into a bind, and they need chunk plays, they're looking for this guy, Deuce Robinson. If Miami secondary can lock him down, that takes away their home run ability. And they not only live off the home run, they die off the home run. You saw it against, Virginia. They had a lot of turnovers. They didn't have a whole lot of home run plays. I mean, I get Castellanos had a fantastic game, but where was the 30, the 40, the 50-yard plays? They didn't have a whole lot of those against Virginia, and because of that, they died off the home run. They live off the home run, but they die off the home run too. Because if you can't get home runs, you're not gonna get offense. So this is their home run guy. You neutralize him, you win the game. My second X factor for the Miami Hurricanes is going to be their quarterback, Carson Beck. And there's not much I can say there. He's been, this whole Miami offense has been kind of shoddy. They've been carried by their defense. But if Carson Beck can have a great game, they're going to win this game, right? Florida State's defense is not that good. I think if Carson Beck even plays average, he'll put up the amount of points he needs to in order to get the dub, right? My third impact player for Miami is going to be their running back, Mark Fletcher Jr. If he can establish the run game, Miami can control the tempo. They can take the edge off of Florida State's pass rush base. If they can control the tempo, if they can beat Florida State's defense, that they just need to focus on letting their defense cook. Right? You need to let the Miami defense cook. But if you let the Miami defense cook and you can't get nothing going on offense, you can't win with one side of the ball, or you can, but you'll hardly win against, with one side of the ball. Certainly not in a game where both, teams are title contenders, right? ACC title contenders. So if Carson Beck can't get going, Mark Fletcher Jr. has to get going. And if neither of them can get going, I don't think Miami, scores a game unless their defense holds Florida State to a touchdown. and a field goal. If it's a 10-point game, I think Miami could, but I would like to see these two, obviously generate some offense. My third player for Florida State is going to be their cornerback, Jabril Rawls. There's not a whole lot of talent to boast on this Florida State defense, but they do have this guy, and he is fantastic in coverage. If Jabril Rawls can lock up Florida State's, receiving core and make them rush, and if they can stop, that's their key for their defense. But I think the only three you really have to pay attention to. Honestly, the only two you have to pay attention to, you watch Ruben Baines and you watch Thomas Castellanos, right? The game is going to flow through these two, right? Here's how, the keys to success for both these teams. If Miami, or no, I shouldn't even say Miami. If Baines can put pressure on Castellanos and force him out of the pocket and make him uncomfortable, they will win! Exclamation point, exclamation point. That is how this is how Miami's going to win the game. If Ruben Baines can put pressure on Thomas Castellanos, if he can flush him out of the pocket, if he can make him uncomfortable, if he can force him to make some throws he probably wouldn't have if he had more time, if he can get to Thomas Castellanos, I don't think Florida State stands a snowball's chance in hell. I really, really don't. This goes both ways, though. If not, Castellanos will have a clean pocket, which equals time to look for home runs. If you give Castellanos 3 or 4 or 5 seconds on dropbacks, he's gonna find Deuce Robinson. He's going to find his home run. Florida State not only dies off the home run, but they live off the home run too, right? So if Ruben Baines can get to Thomas Castellanos, Miami's gonna win. But if Ruben Baines can't find him, can't pressure him, can't make him sweat, I think Thomas Castellanos is going to be able to pick apart the rest of this defense. And, there's going to be a play maybe sometime, in the middle 8 or towards the end of the game where Castellanos is going to find, Deuce Robinson or Squirrel White or somebody, or he's going to make a play of his own. It's going to be, 30, 40, 50, 60 yards. And that's going to do it for Miami. But that's not going to happen if Ruben Baines can get to him. So without further ado, here are our picks for the week. We are going to get our picks started with two picks from this New Mexico, University of New Mexico at San Jose State University, right? So, for the consensus for this game, the consensus lines are as follows. For the spread, it is San Jose State at minus 2.5. for the money line, we've got San Jose State at minus 132. And for the over-under, they have over-under 55.5, right? And we're interested. We're gonna take. We're gonna look at this this spread, and we're gonna look at this over/under, right? So our first bet for the day, we've got San Jose State over. And I use a betting exchange, so I get a little bit more freedom with my picks. If you want, this is by no means an endorsement, but I use ProfitX because I live in Florida and I don't trust sports books anyways. And even if I did, Hard Rock Bet's my only option. So I use ProfitX betting exchange. We got over 58.5. That's quite a leap up from 55.5, but we got over 58.5 with a $1 stake. We've got minus 107 odds. So that's a payout of just 93 cents. But that is the over-under that we're taking. I honestly think that these two teams could manage to score upwards of like 60, 70 points. Neither of these teams play defense. So this over-under of 55, it's high, but I don't think it's quite high enough. Give me over 58.5. Honestly, if I could get over 60, I might even take that because that could move me to the positives, but I could not get that, so that's the best I could get. It's the best I could get, and I only put $1 on it. We are also going to take this spread. We are going to take the University of New Mexico at, I had it up here, but at they are plus 116. I put $2.50 for a payout of $2.09. So these are our two plays for this game, and that's already two of our plays. This Western Kentucky Delaware game, right? We're gonna do a money line here. The consensus right now, it's Delaware minus 145. I don't like that at all. So I went ahead and I took, because I went ahead and found myself a little Western Kentucky at plus 128 for $2.50 to to win $3.20. That's our play for this Western Kentucky Delaware game. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna write down all my plays over here, just so they're on the board. So we've got Western Kentucky plus 128, 250. And we've also got, I talked about the two New Mexico ones I got New Mexico plus 116 for $2.50. And then we've also got we got a second one for that New Mexico game. We've got over Mexico at San Jose State University We've got the over 58.5. We got $1 on that. So that we're going to keep track of those there. For our next pick, we're going to be looking at this Michigan State at Nebraska. And we're going to be looking at the over-under. The over-under right now consensus is sitting at a cool little 53.5. It's a pretty high over-under. But here's the thing, the weather in Lincoln is going to be nasty. I'm writing 10 commandments up here. Number 1, wind/rain equals under. So we're going to take this is a high over-under anyways. It's going to be hard to hit even in good weather. But remember, this is 23-degree wind speed. So we're going to take Michigan State and Nebraska under. I was able to nail 48.5, and I put $1.25. All right. For our next game, we have got South Alabama at Troy, and this is going to be a spread pick. Right now, the spread is Troy -3, right? And we're going to go here with a little bit of some South Alabama. We're going to take South Alabama at plus 2.5, and we went ahead and put $1.25. This time we've got a over/under. This game is the UNLV at Wyoming, and right now the over/under is setting at 52.5. Right, and I was able to knock out UNLV at. Do I know how to write a W? Clearly I don't. I didn't even write it right that time. Wyoming. I got under 51.5. And I put $1 on that. For our next game, we've got Syracuse SMU. We got Q's at the SMU, and we're going to take the money line here. Right now, the favorite is SMU by a very, very wide margin, 520. Listen, I know Syracuse lost to Duke pretty embarrassingly, but this is still, it's a decent enough football team. I think they can I certainly think they can beat, SMU. I don't know why it's this high. I could not tell you. I understand the loss to Duke was embarrassing, but this is, it's going to be like what? I've got Syracuse. I got them at plus 580. So I got Q's at plus 580. And I went ahead and put $1 on that. But just to cover my bases, because I think it'd be interesting if Syracuse can not only win this game, if they can cover, that'd be big bucks. So I've also got Syracuse plus 15.5. Go ahead and invert the odds. I got Syracuse at plus 15.5, and that's I got a $1 on that one. Gonna hurry this one up here, but we've got this Iowa State Cincy game. We've got Iowa State at plus 105, and we've got $1 on that. I'm gonna rewrite this all big so you can read it, and I'm gonna show you it so you can take a screenshot if you would like. We've also got UAB plus 220 with $1 on that. And I think that might do it for all of the, nope, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We need 11. Good thing I have this one up my sleeve. New Mexico State University at plus 117. That is my, I saved this for last on purpose. That is my big ticket. That is my $5 bet. It makes, bear with me here. It makes absolutely no sense why New Mexico State should be the underdogs in this game. They're playing in New Mexico against Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State is 0-4. New Mexico State 2-2. I mean, you do the math. You do the math. You don't even need the advanced analytics or formula for that. So New Mexico State being underdogs is a joke. It's some sick joke. It's a sick joke. So I'm gonna rewrite them all big. Let me rewrite it big. New Mexico State University, to recap, plus 117 at $5. We've got UAB plus 220 at $1. We've got Iowa State plus 105 at $1. We've got Syracuse, I understand I use a different abbreviation, forget about it, at plus 15.5. We've got $8 on that one. We've got Syracuse at plus 580 on the money line. We've got $1 on that one. We've got this UNLV and Wyoming game. We've got the under 51.5 at $1. We've got South Alabama at plus 2.5 at $1.25. We've got Michigan State at Nebraska under 48.5 at $1.25. We've got University of New Mexico at San Jose State. We got over 58.5, and then we've got $1 on that one. We've got the University of New Mexico at plus 116. We've got $2.50 on that. And then we've got Western Kentucky plus 128. And we've got $2.50 on that. That is our big, so you can read it, picks of the week. We've got, I believe it was 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 picks for the week. Go ahead and screenshot them. Jot them down if you do. Also, remember, I am using a betting exchange. So if you can't find these odds on, the only sports book I have in Florida is Hard Rock Bet. If you can't find these odds on Bet365 or FanDuel or DraftKings or whatever. It's because I use a betting exchange and I can set my own odds, because that's how betting exchanges work. Picks for the week. So if you want to, go ahead and see all these picks in real time and keep track of, I'm going to let you know, my record, my ROI. But if you want to see it for yourself, you can go ahead and follow me on the Action Network. Now this site is really cool. It's a site and an app, but this site is really cool. It allows you to track all the bets you make, and it will automatically figure out what your record is, what your ROI is, how much money have you made in the last 7 days, how much money have you made in the last month, so on and so forth. Do you make more money in NBA or college football, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. So Action Network, if you want to go ahead and follow me, my handle is it is Keen, capital KENN underscore lowercase AON, underscore foot, capital FOTBAAL, capital YT. Keen on Football. And it will, if you follow me, it'll automatically let you know when you can see my bets, right? You can see, it'll tell you when I make something. It'll and you can track my bets from your from the safety of your own home. But I will be updating you guys on my own, because I am a man of my word, and I ask you to judge me not by my winners but my losers. That's a Wolf of Wall Street reference. I love that movie, but that is my Action Network. And then I guess I'll finish this video by giving you some more cool little websites you can use. One of the other little betting websites I like to use is this website called Unbaited, and it lets you compare odds across literally an numerous amount of sports books. Like they have Polymarket, they have FanDuel, they have DraftKings, they have Fanatics, ESPN Bet, Novig, Bet365. They got ProfitX, which I'll talk about that. They got The Score, they got Fliff, they got Sticks, they got Bet105, Wager Shack, they got South Point, SXBet, Kalshi, they've got Heritage Sports, Hard Rock Bet, BetMGM, Caesar Sportsbook, Bet Online, Bovada, Bet Buckeye, Sugar House, Bet Rivers, Matchbook Sports Interactions, I can't even read that one. Parks, they got Sport Trade, and they've got Underdog. They've got literally almost all of them. Action has, I think, all of them, but Unabated is fantastic if you just want to, compare different odds and whatnot. And they've got some calculators of their own too. Action has some calculators, but Unabated also has some calculators. Honestly, Unabated is kind of like Action, but a little bit different. I don't have a handle on there. I might get one soon. The second website, I keep bringing up this betting exchange I use, and this is not all an endorsement, but I use ProfitX. I live in the great state of Florida, and I may have already mentioned it, but we only have Hard Rock Bet, so I don't like using in sports books. Maybe I can do a video about why betting exchanges are the way to go. But for me, the betting exchange, the best betting exchange, it's ProfitX. So Action and Unabated for tracking different odds, tracking your picks and whatnot, and other people's picks. ProfitX is where I make my bets. So yeah, I've covered Florida State and Miami. I've covered my picks for the week. And yeah, I think that will do it for this little video. And I mentioned earlier in my other video, my Week 6 preview, that it wasn't really a Week 6 preview. It was a more of a Week 5 recap. So I got a new schedule, right? So our week will start on, so we got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And oftentimes we'll have games on Thursday and Friday. So my schedule will start with I have Sunday on there twice. My schedule will start with Monday. Monday will be for week recaps. All right? And then Wednesday will be for week previews. That way I can split it in two. And then on one of these days, we'll have an in-depth matchup that's referring to one of these games on Saturday, right? So games are played on Saturday. It's week 6. It'll be played on Saturday. So next week on Monday, I'll give you my week 6 recaps, and then on Wednesday, I'll give you my week 7 previews, and then my in-depth, I'll talk about whatever my game of the week is for that week. I don't know what it would be off the top of my head, but yeah. So because I noticed when I made my video yesterday, it was supposed to be both of these, and it was a lot more of this than it was this. So in-depth also plus. Or, actually we can add bet review, bet for, no. Bet next. All right, anyways, that's the weekly schedule. We'll have 3 videos a week: preview, bet review, or review, bet review, preview, bet preview, and an in-depth matchup. And that'll do it. I will also probably make a 4th video introducing myself. I've mentioned several times, hi, my name is Keen, welcome to Keen on Football, but who am I exactly? And I'll explain that in a video next week. But that's gonna do it for today. Quick note, I am ordering a lot more jerseys. I know yesterday I was wearing that nice East Carolina windbreaker, and then I busted out the Ohio State blackout jersey halfway through the video. I've got a lot more jerseys coming. If you've watched The Hockey Guy, I want to be the hockey guy. So I got the whiteboard. I'm ordering all kinds of jerseys. So I've got an East Carolina throwback, and I've got the Oregon gangrene, I think, coming pretty soon. So I'll rotate those out, and I'll just keep getting more. So that'll be exciting. But yeah, that is my week. That is my Florida State Miami preview and my betting preview. If you enjoyed, certainly please like and subscribe, and I will see you on Saturday, because I think maybe I might be streaming these games for you. Wouldn't that be something? You can come and enjoy, have a cup of tea while we not quite watch college football together. I'm not allowed to show you the games because that's piracy, but I will have this. I'll be watching them. I'll have the scoreboard up, so that way you guys aren't completely lost. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Keen on Football, the college football talk show. I was your host, Keen. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Come again soon.